Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. It's the American Doofus Show. Don't be a doofus. We are live, following up on the breaking live earlier today regarding Andrew Brown, man shot by sheriff deputies from Pasquotank County. Elizabeth City's the name of the town in North Carolina. We're going to start out the episode with what the police had to say from their side, and hang with me on this. Hang with me throughout the night here, because we've got some things we need to talk about. We'll be looking at some protests, some other stories, but we're going to begin with what the police have to say.
It's been a traffic day today. It started at approximately 8:30 a.m. during the search warrant at 421 Main Street by Pasquotank County Sheriff's deputies. Andrew Brown Jr. was fatally wounded during this search warrant. The North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, an outside agency, was immediately contacted and is conducting this investigation. The Sheriff's Office has complete trust in the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation and its ability to complete this investigation. The Sheriff's Office will be transparent and take the proper actions based on the findings of the SBI's investigation. I have put together a team of local law enforcement to come to Pasquotank County to ensure the safety and protection of the citizens in our community.
The SBI was requested by the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office this morning, immediately after an incident in which officers of Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office or deputies were involved in the shooting. The SBI agents in our district deployed immediately and will begin conducting interviews. We will conduct a thorough and complete investigation utilizing all available resources. Our agents are fact finders, and at which time all interviews and casework are completed, we'll turn our findings and our case file over to the district attorney, District Attorney Marble, at which time we'll make a determination about any criminal charges. It's very early in the investigation, so we will not be able to answer any questions about any of the details involved in this case. Thank you.
And what we do have body camera sheets, and they were active.
So we see situations like this play out in other jurisdictions. Sometimes the police are very proactive in wanting to show that to the public. For some reason, we're not able to do that.
We are currently working that right now as hard as we can. Yes. We will be transparent with this situation, absolutely.
Can you confirm that this is part of the drug task force here in the Northeast North Carolina? That this is their serving a drug warrant or a search warrant for drugs or something like that?
What I can confirm is this was a search warrant. This was a search warrant that was being.
Okay. Well, that's what can be confirmed. It's a search warrant. Now, what kind of search warrant is one that ends up, that is so important that it involved a shooting and a killing? What was the reason for the search warrant that it could have been so important that it was worth shooting and killing? I've got to switch over here. Bear with me for just a second. I've got some things I want to talk about. As soon as I can. This is what's going on in Columbus, Ohio, outside police headquarters tonight, following what happened in Columbus yesterday with the shooting of the 15-year-old. I'm going to leave this video on, but I want to share something with you over the top of it. We just heard what the police had to say, and very little. I'm going to take you back to May 25th, 2020. That was the day George Floyd was murdered, as it was determined by the court yesterday. All right. First of all, this is what I'm reading is the Minneapolis, Minnesota police press release. On May 26th, the day after, the press release reads, as additional information has been made available, it has been determined that the Federal Bureau of Investigations will be part of this investigation. That additional information that was made available was, hey, we got it all on video. Think about that. Now, here's the actual press release from May 25th, 2020. The headline, man dies after medical incident during police interaction. That's how George Floyd's death was being framed by the Minneapolis Police Department on that day before they knew there was video. The report reads, or the press release reads, on Monday evening, shortly after 8 p.m., officers from the Minneapolis Police Department responded to the 3700 block of Chicago Avenue South on a report of a forgery in progress. Officers were advised that the suspect was sitting on top of a blue car and appeared to be under the influence. Two officers arrived, located the suspect, a male believed to be in his 40s, in his car. He was ordered to step from the car. After he got out, he physically resisted officers. Officers were able to get the suspect into handcuffs and noted he appeared to be suffering medical distress. Officers called for an ambulance. He was transported to Hennepin County Medical Center by ambulance, where he died a short time later. At no time were any weapons of any type used by anyone involved in this incident. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension has been called in to investigate this incident at the request of the Minneapolis Police Department. No officers were injured in the incident. Body cameras were worn and activated. The go number associated with this case, and then it lists the case number, which was 20-140629. What was missing from that press release? 9 minutes and 29 seconds of having a knee on someone's neck and in someone's back. Things would have been a lot different had there not been a camera there, had there not been a phone there. It's the same situation in Indiana on July 4th of last year. A young black man would have been lynched, but somebody had a camera, somebody had a phone. And that's why this online network of live streamers and people like me that share the information, that's why it's so important, because the story you get is not always the entire story unless you're seeing the entire story. So I just wanted to share that with you. How different would it have been if there had not been that video of George Floyd? Well, he would have been a 40-year-old black man that died of medical conditions during a police incident. It's just something to think about. It's just something to think about. And that's why I feel like what I'm doing is so important. To me, it feels like what I'm doing is important. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's, maybe it's redundant. Maybe there are so many people doing it that it's, it's insignificant, but it doesn't feel that way. And now Andrew Brown. Again, a small town in Elizabeth City in North Carolina. And how small is the town? Well, I had one live stream and it ended right before I went live. And I haven't been able to find another live stream. So that's how small the town is. However, the protest is intense tonight. For those that don't know, those that missed the live this morning, those that haven't heard, Andrew Brown, a 40-year-old black man, father of 10 children, and he was shot and killed by police, by county sheriff's deputies this morning while they were serving a search warrant. And you heard the police version to start the show. If you just joined and you missed that, go back and watch the police version when we're done here. Because the police version of the story is such that they tell facts, but they don't tell you all of the facts. What's the search warrant for? Well, they know. Well, why can't we know? Is it worth somebody dying? Why didn't you shoot out the tires? For those that don't know the story, when the sheriffs arrived to serve the search warrant, the man was in his car and started to pull away. And that's when he was shot. Unarmed. Wasn't a threat to police as far as we know, based on the story on the ground. And normally that's what I do. I get the story from the ground and then it becomes verified with facts. And if the facts I've given are wrong, I come out and say that. Just like yesterday when the 15-year-old was killed and we had the first report of it. It's important. It's important that the information gets out as it is before it becomes painted, before it becomes what we call framed. That means you take an argument or you take a position and you frame that position. You make that position such that it is either a detriment to someone else or a major strength to yourself. That's when you're debating in politics. And I don't know. It's just when I went back and read the actual press release of how the Minneapolis police tried to frame this, it was more than a little troubling. And I thought I should point out how important it is for people. Get your camera out when you get your phone out and start recording when you see something, because you don't know what it's going to turn into. And police were not aware of how many people were recording back then. Now police are very aware that people record. They weren't aware of how many people just put videos up on Facebook. I do it, every time, not every time, but once a week when I'm walking Oakley, I'll shoot a video. It if nothing else, it keeps me ready with the gimbal and the equipment in case something happens nearby. So the police didn't realize that that there were so many people that actually filmed with their cameras, and now it's common knowledge. And now we wait in hopes. I don't think it's there, or we would have seen it already. But there's hopes that someone had a camera and saw what actually happened to this man in North Carolina. So with that being said, we're going to pop up to the this is what is happening. It's a cold night in Columbus, Ohio. They are out there for the 15-year-old girl, Makeda Bryant, who was shot yesterday, and we had part of that police body cam footage in the episode last night. And hello to everybody that that is here. I'll get into the chat here in a few minutes. I'm going to see what I can find, if I can find something about something from the coverage of Elizabeth City. Andre Hill was another man killed in Columbus by police last summer. We had that story too. Okay. Okay, I don't have any feeds from Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Again, that's how small the community is, and it should remind us that this happens in police departments all around the country. Sometimes we only hear about it in the big cities. San Antonio, police action shooting, killed 2 men, wounded a third. The officer was shot at first. So there wasn't a lot of commotion, if you will, brought on by that, because it was deemed justified, because he was in self-defense. It's situations where it's totally unnecessary to shoot that that occurred way too often. Oh my God, too many names. Okay, well, there's not much going on the at the protest in Columbus. Let me share another brief story here. A Massachusetts man who allegedly yelled a racial epithet and drove his truck towards a group of black children has been charged with hate crimes and assault with a deadly weapon or dangerous weapon, according to police. This was in Holbrook, Massachusetts. Holbrook police arrived at a school playground around 1 p.m. Saturday. This happened on April 10th, but it's just now coming out. Holbrook police arrived at a school playground around 1 p.m. on Saturday, April 10th, after a juvenile had called and reported a man in a red pickup truck is trying to run over the caller and a group of their friends. Shane Belleville, 36, is facing charges, police said. Belleville and his attorney haven't responded to requests for comments. Officers reviewed surveillance footage in the area, spoke to witnesses, and determined that the incident began as a verbal argument between 2 children, a 7-year-old and an 8-year-old, one black and one white. So other children ranging in ages from 9 to 15 joined the confrontation. The incident escalated with racial epithets being used, and the altercation became physical. No serious injuries were reported. As children were beginning to walk away, Belleville allegedly drove his truck into the park onto the path and confronted the group of all black children. I'm sorry. This is just, it's just indicative of what's going on in our country. We got too many people that just automatically have hate, and because we have so many people that automatically have hate, there are so many people that automatically have suspicion based upon race, because there's so much hate based upon race, and that is an incredibly toxic situation, and it's where our country's at right now. Whether we want to believe it or not, or whether we want to accept it or not, or at least in my opinion, let me put it that way, because if you don't agree with me, that's fine. But there are a lot of white Americans who are saying we need to take our country back. And you have to ask the question, take it back from who? And then wait until it gets to the answer, immigrants, which we all are, unless we're indigenous. But that's not how it's looked at in America by a lot of people. And we have to, I really kind of hope the verdict yesterday, shortly after the verdict, I ended my live, because I just wanted to decompress. I wanted to have a few hours of just thinking with hope that, maybe this is a point where people will start trying to understand each other and start recognizing each other as human beings. And then I found out about the 15-year-old, and it was automatically right back to, when is this going to end? When is this going to stop? Because it's been said and asked so many times here on this program, and by people on this program, and by people commenting, because we don't all want it. There are some that are relishing in this. There are some that are so excited that all of this is happening, but a lot of us just want it to end, and in the right way. And last night, in the live last night, I got hit with copyright, and the episode last night was banned. It was banned in 4 countries. It was banned in North Korea. It was banned in Iran. It was banned in Syria, and it was banned in Cuba. Now, first of all, nobody in any of those countries would want to listen to this program. So why? Also last night, all the money it wouldn't have been a lot, but I had a bunch of views last night. All that money went to Sean Puffy Combs over a copyright. And that's okay. That's, Puff Daddy needs the money. But the other 3 copyright hits I had were all taken down after they saw the context, and that it wasn't being used. It wasn't being used to profit. It wasn't being used by me at all. It just happened to be playing in the background. So, so took a little bit of an economic hit last night that I wasn't anticipating. Again, it's not that much that it makes a big deal, but it needs to be mentioned, because I think a lot of it is they are really going to try to limit the messengers. They are really going to try to limit what is said and what is reported, because I don't think things are going to get any better. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm being an incredible doofus, but it's just the feelings. Yeah, 420. I forgot about that, T-Rex. Hop over here in the comments for a minute. Derek Chauvin convicted of murder of black man on Hitler's birthday. I had forgotten 420 was Hitler's birthday. So this is probably not going to be a long live, because the people in Columbus are freezing and kind of dropping off. The diehards are still there. And there doesn't appear to be anything going on at the moment in Minneapolis or in Brooklyn Center. And the only feed I've got that is to replace the one I've got up here now has music going. I can tell because people are dancing, so I'm not even going to try to take a look at that. But I'll put the volume back up on here. I'll step back to the back of the room for a minute, and I'll leave you with this to think about. If you were a good cop, wouldn't you welcome a top to bottom evaluation of practices and procedures in your department? Just something to think about. Okay, so they're walking away. Let me jump over here. I'm not even sure what this is, but it is a protest. Okay. As soon as I come over here, music comes on. Kelvin Black, you may be correct. It may take aliens to make us unite. Because again, you know, the more hate that comes up from both sides of those that want a race war, the more hate that comes up, the more distrust that's going to come up from people that don't, you know, and it's just, man, it's just going to make for a horrific situation if things keep going in the way they're going. And some of the comments I see on Facebook, some of the comments I see on my platform, some of the comments emails I get sent, the hate is so ignorant, because all it does is envelops you. It envelops you. You know, whether it's hate, anger, whatever it is, it becomes the focus. And then when somebody, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but when somebody's really, really angry and they're really mad at you, and if you don't get mad and angry back at them, they just get more and more consumed. They become more become more and more consumed trying to justify their anger, trying to justify their position. And there are a whole lot of people in that situation now. And it's like a pressure cooker. There are no aliens, just intelligent life forms like God. Well, hey, thank you, Moondog. The hate is too much. The hate is too much. And am I referring to you, T-Rex? No, I don't think so. If I was, it wasn't intentional. I'm just, throughout the day, I jot things down that I feel like I should talk about. And that's one of the things I had jotted down, that the hate is going to lead to distrust, and it's going to lead to broken relationships. Just like the QAnon, the lies QAnon spread, and the people that believed the lies, and they believed them so with such conviction that anybody that didn't also believe the lie was the enemy. And I don't, that's an incredible mindset to have as a nation. Let me see if we still got music going here.
When we find the truth out in the street, but that's what we do. That's what we do, on God. On God. Appreciate you, Nestor, on God. Appreciate you, buddy. On God. But I do apologize to the women who, when I keep getting out of character for these racist people.
Okay. I need to find a video where I know who the streamer is. I hate restreaming, because that's what it is. It's showing somebody else's stream. I hate restreaming from people that I don't know. But at the moment, there's not a lot of streams up to choose from. And I also might mention that Ted Nugent was diagnosed with COVID-19 today or yesterday, and this weekend he was famously addressing people that there was no such thing as the virus, and it was all a hoax. And then 3 days later, after being in that group of people, he has the virus. So I know a white guy that disowned his entire family because they were all Trumpers. Not a surprise at all. Not a surprise at all. I've heard stories of from people that followed me in politics or supported me in politics. They're like, I just can't deal with it. I can't deal with them. And the pandemic gave them an excuse not to deal with them. It gave an excuse not to go to Thanksgiving dinner, not to go to, Christmas dinner. And now, well, I guess those in that situation can still use it as an excuse, but it's, I'm hoping anyway, we get to a point where it's not an impact anymore, because that whole thing is stressful too. I lost too many people close to me, and there are others that got sick and are still feeling the effects of that. So I hope that goes away. I hope the disease of racism goes away. I really believe we could all end it. I really do. I believe it, but the only way to do it is you got to marginalize hate on both sides. And it may be too late. The hate may be too vast. Again, I founded a movement called EAR, End All Racism. And I don't talk about it a lot now because it's we're in survival mode, in my opinion. You know, I may be wrong. I may be overreacting. I may be misreading the signs, whatever you want to call it. But that's what it feels like to me. It feels like that there will be a point where there is such an action that there will be no turning back. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong on that, especially. I know a black guy that disowned his entire family because they were all BLM. Yeah, not every, you know, and again, we automatically go to monolithic thinking that, and I warned about this, that, you know, something happened and there was an attack and it was deemed that Antifa, Black Lives Matter did it. Well, in a lot of white people's minds, every black person is a member of Black Lives Matter, but not all black people support Black Lives Matter, especially with information coming out about how it appears some of the money might be being spent. And I don't comment on that because I don't know the facts, and that's not my lane. But yeah, not surprised about that at all either. Again, there's a difference in my mind between saying Black Lives Matter, which I can easily say because they do. And when you see somebody say all lives matter, you know what they're saying. You know what they're saying. But I'm not a member of Black Lives Matter. I don't belong to the organization but the concept. And I'm searching to find out where this is at. I'm guessing it's somewhere in the Carolinas. Again, it's just filler footage at the moment. I got talking and I should be looking. I'm going to sit back. So let me see if I can do this without music.
Hey, check this out. Hey, bitch. If you listen to the video, he said, wait, my backpack. What are you doing? Wait, come on.
Okay. I don't really want to hear that kind of talk at the moment. I'm one of those that I don't like women getting disrespected. I know that there's a difference in cultures and all that, and that's fine. Okay, let me jump to this. We talked about D in Louisville. D Garrett, Deegarrett. He was beaten by police Sunday, and we had that footage. He had a press conference in Louisville earlier today, and Maxwell Mitchell had that. Let me pop that up real quick, and while I find something else, hang with me if you will. If not, thanks for being here while you're here. I love y'all. This is D.
I'm going to share my heart. Like I said before, I I know they're after me because one of the detectives is Detective Fox, and he's on all my cases. And if you watch what happened to me yesterday in the courtroom, my lawyer tore him up and caught him up in all types of lies. He's been harassing protesters. He's been behind a lot of stuff that's been going on. Detective Fox was the one behind my lawyer, daughter, getting her wrist broken. She's 15. So I'm putting this together because I wanted to put the truth out there, and they're giving y'all one side of truth. I want to go full circle with it. So it was a young lady. Y'all know Rose, what's Rose's name? You know Rose? Barbara Rowe. I'm gonna call her Barbara Rowe. It's a young lady. We got the video. Out here protesting. She got slammed by her neck by the police. She's still fighting it. Nothing happening. I just wanted to let y'all know that now, with my situation that happened, I just want y'all to know that my situation was the only situation that's been happening out here. And I'm not going to be selfish and try to run and, say it's all about me, because it's not about me. When I stepped into this movement, to change stuff that goes on in the system. And I'm sorry, I gotta speak the truth. I'm getting hateful phone calls, people trying to spread my record. They don't even know what's going on. But it's crazy that when the truth is on the scene, they want to persecute you. People hate the truth. So I want people, man, to share, man, and just open the floor to people that's been out here. People that can say about me that I'm not this violent person that they're trying to make me do. I will protect my people. So if people come to the square and try to bring harm to my people, I will protect my people. And they will tell you that that's my character. So if you come to the square and try to bring harm to my people, you can't be mad if you're being the aggressor. So the guy tried to hit my boy, my friend, with his car. He actually hit 2K with his car. 2K was on top of his car, and I ran the same case that I'm fighting right now. I ran up to the car to stop the car, and my friend was on top of the car. But they said they don't got no video. All they trying to show is pictures. I'm going to share the real story. So they can play all these games they want to. I'm going to hit it's chess. I'm playing chess with it, and I'm about to graduate and playing poker. So they doing this, and they say they want unity and all this and that. What they did Sunday, it's not unity, because that's not my character. I lost my voice out here fighting for D. But we need to fight for everybody else to this injustice and racist ass system. I'm sick of it. Tired.
I stand with G. Mayor Fisher stated that this is a compassionate city. The only thing is uncompassionate and it's unfortunate was a statement that he made that he's still in office and allowed the FOP run the police department. Mayor Shields, stop hiding behind her shield and get your officers in check. With the mandate came with Breonna's tell us that they are still not being trained. They are still targeting protesters. They still have immunity, and they are not treating citizens and taking citizens' lives, Black Lives Matter, in check. And we are sick and tired of being sick and tired that this community is not speaking out against the rogue officers, police cops that's on the force. You need to get rid of them. That one who kept continually beat D in the face needs to be fired. You can do your internal investigation, but not let him be on the force while you are doing it. And all of those officers that was with him are complicit to what had happened. You had an officer who's supposed to be in charge, and he did not step in. So what type of training are they getting? They all of them need to go. We need a complete defund the police and start all over again, because we as Black lives are under attack. But protesters continually to be under the attack. They laugh at them, call their name. Yeah, we got you. Jaywalking, give me a break. Had D been a white man, do you think that there would be so much silence? There would be an uproar in this community. Yes, a
accountable for everything they've done to every single person's family that I have out here right now. It's terrible. Honestly, they should be sick of themselves.
And the new chief of police who just came down here from Atlanta said she wanted the job. She needs to do her job. Not one time have I seen her come out here and connect with the community. But she said she know about black people. She know our plight. First of all the officers need to be prosecuted. Now, one of them officers got up and said, "Man, get off that man. You're not supposed to be hitting him." They just sit there and help the man. Why the man beat the man? Okay? So, y'all was held accountable. Everybody that's involved. George Floyd probably wouldn't have died if the officer sitting next to him wouldn't have pushed him off of George Floyd's neck. Okay, let's just keep it real, y'all. It's all of our problem. And we just appreciate the media coming out. But I want to talk to the chief of police. What is you doing? You here, you knew, you said you came to make a difference. What are you doing? Why are you not out here talking about how you retraining these officers? And let's hold them all accountable, not just the one that hit them. All of them, they was all involved. They held in a black man down while another white man beat him. Come on. We got to do better. And we are the change that we want to see. We don't care if we got to do this by ourselves. We're here for D.
That again from the stream of Maxwell Mitchell, one of the, if not the top live streamers in America, based out of Louisville. And again, I'm just going to throw this out there. If you were a good cop, wouldn't you welcome a top to bottom evaluation of practices and procedures in your department? Just something to think about. Back to Andrew Brown. What was the reason for the search warrant that it could have been so important that it meant shooting and killing him? We've got the 15-year-old in Columbus, Ohio. Yes, she had a knife. Was the shooting justified? That'll be determined. Too often they aren't. Too often, if you don't have a camera, the story's not told. I talked earlier in the show about how the Minneapolis, Minnesota police framed the George Floyd incident in their press releases. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch the beginning, please. So, going to wrap things up for now. I may have just a regular traditional episode tomorrow night. I might have a couple of guests on. I don't know. It all depends how things go. It all depends what happens. All these shootings, it is suspect. Yes, it is. And suspect brings suspicion, and suspicion brings distrust, and distrust brings dislike, and dislike brings hate, and hate brings anger, and anger brings violence. And we gotta try to calm all of those things. That's why there's so much stress. That's why there's so much pressure. That's why it feels so like survival. It's because all of these keep mounting. Hello, Warrior Captain. So thank you all for watching. I love you all. Sincerely do. If you want to help support the show, keep us on. Cash App is American Doofus, AMERICANDUFUS, all one word, $sign in front of that. If you want to email me, American Doofus, all one word, at gmail.com. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. If you are a subscriber, consider hitting the notification button, because the way things are going, you never know when we're going to pop on. Please hit that like button. And thank you all for being here. Thank you all for commenting. It's still such a dark world. It's a dark world. Dark world. And we need all the light we can get. So try to be a light. I love y'all. Thank you all so much for watching. It's the American Doofus Show. Don't be a doofus. Until next time, I'm Barry Walsh.